Anywho, this is Kuda Slayer again. It's a quiet Sunday morning. I was kind of bored and been meaning to try to do some more things to post more videos and whatnot to the internet. So this is kind of a haphazard way of getting myself back into a habit and the hobby. But what we'll be looking at here tonight is or say this morning, is kind of the majority collection of my Space Marine figures of the little army I started some time ago, and the display case that they're currently displayed in. The let's see. I started this back in about 1989 with these, what some of you may not recognize immediately, are these Variant 1 Terminators. These were available for just a couple of years, and they're very, very hard to come by nowadays. It's kind of funny to think that the current Terminators that we see today start off as these guys. But I kind of fell in love with the figure some time ago, and was kind of experimenting with some painting and little bit experimenting here and there, and eventually came up with this paint scheme, which later came to being this Space Marine army that you see right here. I call these guys the Rising Suns. They are a Japanese Oriental themed army. Was something kind of somewhat comical, and their execution, but overall I think even though it's a simple paint scheme, it came out rather effective, and certainly when in large mass numbers they certainly do make a bit of an impression. Unfortunately, since these figures do date back to 1989, they kind of do show some of my worse painting ability, and so they're both kind of my pride and joy, and also kind of a bit of an embarrassment in some ways. Let's see, what should we start off with today? Like I said, these are some of my favorite figures right here, the Variant 1 Terminators. They were available in 1989 for a short while, and yeah, I got a bunch of them stashed away. I've even made some resin copies to use with modern Terminator parts of something a little bit more, a little less retro, a little bit more practical. But they've always been one of my favorite figures, and I did not need those nickels. Let's see. This guy back here, you probably might have seen him in other videos that I've done. This is a Tech Marine that I did up. I refer to him as Grandfather Gundam. He's made out of various different Tech Marine parts, Iron Hand, Orc, and a few other bits and bobs. Still kind of rather impressive how he came out, even though he is still a little bit of a fragile figure. But he is kind of one of my faves. Made some servitors to go with him. Basically, I kind of viewed them as sort of failed Tech Marine aspirants, and they were lobotomized and became servitors. Again, I thought together they all came out rather effective. Let's see, another fave of mine is this Librarian, rather older figure. I tried painting with some glow-in-dark paint that didn't quite work out as well, but sometimes you can sort of see it. This is an idea I had. Here's another variant older Terminator made from parts from the original Space Hulk game. Made them back in '89 as well. Let's see. It is up a little bit more recent. This is another Librarian. I was experimenting with the green stuff back then, and even though it does look a little amateurish, I thought it was rather good. And one of my other pieces that came with him, or I made with him, is this familiar, basically a floating space marine head with tentacles and a lucky kitty, or lucky cat statue. Let's see. A chaplain I kind of did half-heartedly. I kind of regret the job I did on him, but I was in a hurry and needed a chaplain at the time. Here's one of my leader figures. It's kind of one of my first very early complex figures. I know I don't remember exactly what his stats were, but there's a lot of older parts on here that may or may not recognize. There's some cloaks from the older Space Marine Commander figures. This was one of the early Blood Angel chaplains, and one of the first heads from one of the first Eldar avatars. And the banner original was made from one of those water-activated body tattoos. It was something neat, and just I thought it rather came out effective considering my skill level back then. And let's see, here's another one of my older favorite figures. I know this has to date back to about 88, 89 as well, with one of the newer lead backpacks for the junk troops. Let's see, let me turn this without jerking around. There's a little squad of damn cats. Anyhow, scout squad, and of course one of my other favorite addictions are Space Marine dreadnoughts. This guy here is on the actually, well, no, it would be the second generation Space Marine dreadnought, all lead, and definitely feel it when you pick them up. And again, another example of my kind of poor painting skills back then. It's kind of funny how many generations they have gone through. It's a support version I did as well. So, kind of same generation. This big guy back here is kind of one of my real fun pride and joys. Again, you probably might have seen him in another video. And even though he's heavy, he is kind of still fragile. This was one of the first venerable dreadnoughts they had made. And when I found him, I kind of fell in love and had to do all kinds of things to make it different. As you can see, the legs are in a running pose, and I can tell you that was a pain in the butt to cut and reposition everything to make it work. And various little other parts on him. The backpack is from a Quizzer scale Artemis figure, and all the scrolls and everything from various Inquisitor and other stuff, and those orc skulls on the top of the banner. I originally based them on the concept of the Japanese legend of the I can't say his name, but he was referred to as a Little Peach Boy. He's kind of their version of Tom Thumb, but he was a rather valiant warrior, and I based a Space Marine character off of him. And later, I figured he'd eventually become a dreadnought and continue to serve. Let's see, there's the ruined, in the back you can see the ruined chapel piece of terrain they sold for a little while. It's one of the early marks. I don't remember which version or number it is, but then you got, of course, your four different types of assassins. Not at least we're aware of for now. Let's see, I can do this without too much shaky cam effect. And down here are one of my other obsessions, are Land Raiders. When first generation Land Raiders were out, I used to have a bunch of those, and then when these came out, I started collecting them as well. This is kind of one of the first ones I bought, and then honestly when I put them together I didn't really know what I was doing. And but still one of my favorites. Then here's, if I can move things around. Here's a first generation version of the Crusader. It's all lead with some Forge World add-ons. Again, done when you didn't even know what the hell I was doing. Still see some of the gaps in the plates. And these are actually smokestacks were taken from some ink pens I had lying around. I wish I could find some more of those. They make great smokestacks. And of course, yeah, get some land speeders as well for some fast attack. And sadly, I don't have much room in this case. Let's see. Here's a Devastator Squad I did early on, and that's, you know, they show how badly my painting skills were. And then what Entry and Apocalypse, when that came out, I did a Terminus version and added a Lucky Cat for good luck and aiming, especially considering what happens when you roll a 1 with this damn thing. Then got another example of not knowing what you're doing. There's a no, it's not Prometheus. Yeah, it is a Prometheus. No Land Raider tank I did at the same time when the Land Raider Crusaders came out. I just thought these were extra armor and thought they looked cool, and so I added to that. And made a Japanese flag using an old printer. And still one of my favorite kits. But of course, you can't have too many Land Raiders unless you run out of display case. And I got about 3 or 4 more Land Raiders lying around here somewhere. And I finally broke down and made a set of group of 3 that were modular, so now they can be any of the main versions if and when I need them. Then down here are some older tanks and figures. And before my nosy cat decided to stick his head in here. See, all these guys here, I'm kind of amused that a lot of these guys are original lead from the first version of the Mark 7 suits when they came out. Then there's some later versions mixed in. I need to redo these guys because the weapon fixing is no longer codex compliant, so I gotta do something about that. That's I got a bunch of all my Rhino variants. This is one I tried making a long time ago. So yeah, I'm going to be a dual Firestorm cannon, and kind of came out okay. Again, rather old model, and older version too, and a couple older variants of the Vindicator and the Whirlwind. And then some of you may not recognize these, but these are supposed to be Razorbacks with the older turrets. The turrets are original, but of course I put them on newer Rhino chassis. I found a washer that happened to be a perfect size to fill the hole and let the peg for the turret sit in rather nicely. Of course, since Razorbacks have changed a great deal. Let's see, what else is there? Anyhow, this is my army. It's not the best army in the world, but hey, at least I can say I am the one that did it. A lot of history kind of wrapped up in these guys, and I hope I can continue to do make these models for a long time. It's kind of funny when you look at some of these old things and kind of relive a lot of the memories and a lot of the mistakes. More mistakes than anything else, but certainly a lot of memories. But hopefully this will make you feel better about your painting skills, or at least give you something to think about when it comes to your own army. And hopefully I'll have some more stuff to put up sometime soon. Anyway, this is Kuda Slayer signing off.